I have company. So, Lucia, do you want to tell everybody who you are?
Sure, I'm Lucia, and I am currently dating Anne-Marie's brother, JB.
She is my future sister-in-law.
Oh, stop.
Yay!
We'll see.
So glad. And we have matching mugs.
We'll see. Yes, we
we're
do.
Gorgeous. So we should let people know that this is not a regular update. There will not be chickens again on this update. Probably not a bunny either. Haven't seen the bunny.
I haven't seen the bunny all day.
But there will be knitting.
Yes.
So whether you're an Ima, of course. So whether you're a knitter or not, I'm sure this will be riveting.
Well, I hope so. We've got cookies.
We've show the cookies.
Trader Joe's. Lemon batons. Fantastic. Last time I was here, George was telling me how much he loved lemon, and that sparked our discussion. So on my recent trip to Trader Joe's, I picked some up, and he thoroughly enjoyed his lemon cookie cigars this afternoon while we were sitting outside.
And because of that, I got lemon cake
Yes.
too. And we made pizzas today.
We made pizzas. We had a lovely dinner, and JB was able to come down after work and join us. So the guys are in the house, and we're out here chatting about our crafts.
We told the berries to get out. So I was trying to think, like, what do I have for an update? And the only thing I have is
Yes. Woo.
my 2-pound bag of yeast came in the mail.
Vacuum-packed bag of yeast.
Yeah,
That'll
and you were
last
the
you a
one
while.
who told me order it online because I couldn't find it in the
Yeah,
stores.
for so long I couldn't either. I am not the accomplished bread baker that Anne-Marie is, but I have been trying my hand at a few things. I did some bagels and some regular bread, so I'm getting the hang of it little by little, getting the feel for things. So I had bought mine online since it wasn't available in the store anywhere.
Right.
It was baking, and bread baking in particular became a popular hobby for people stuck in the house for COVID reasons. So yeah.
Yeah, when they told me that the warehouse was out and they didn't know when it was coming in, I thought, oh, that's a problem.
Yeah,
So
that's tough for you. Bake bread every day, so.
I do. Yeah, so
So it's nice that you have plenty to keep you in stock, and
Yes, so we
Barry
have that.
/ George will be happy.
so Barry, who George was supposed to be serving us today. I don't think he did a very
needs
good
work.
job. Yeah, he needs to get
tried.
the hang
He
of
did
it.
try, though.
So
And it was nice to have him with us.
I thought that I would have a finished object today, but I don't.
You're super close, though.
What did we do all day? It's late. Like, what time is it?
6:30?
It's 6:30 at night. Like, I thought we would do this, I don't know, at
Around
noon,
lunchtime?
but we ended up actually not even having our lunch turned into our dinner.
Right.
What did we do all day?
Oh, it just seems like when we're together, the time flies really fast. We talk and have coffee and enjoy the outside and
Okay, so
chickens and...
the last time we got together to knit, we didn't knit.
We didn't knit. I think we knit maybe 4 stitches the
What did we
entire
do?
time.
We ate and talked.
and talked.
Like women.
Drank coffee and... We did watch some TV. I
Did
think
we?
we watched...
No.
Which is the one with the young queen?
Oh,
I think Victoria or The Crown? Which one? The Crown. I hadn't
The
seen any
Crown?
episodes, and I think we did watch a few of those.
so we watched TV, we ate, we didn't, I don't think we
No,
even
we didn't
knit, but
knit.
mostly we talked and
Yes.
ate. And so this time we actually did.
yeah.
You worked on okay, why don't you show everybody what you worked on, and then I'll talk about what I worked on, because you have more, but what did you work on today?
So I started with Mr. Monkey.
So that's a finished object.
This is a finished object. Mr. Monkey ran into a little...
You didn't make the monkey.
I did not make the monkey, but I repaired Mr. Monkey. He needed some surgery after a run-in with a beautiful chocolate lab. So he needed some sutures on his head in order to make Isabella happy. So I fixed him up. He's good to go. He just needs a little shampoo. And then he will be back in business as an evening cuddle buddy for the little one. So he's ready to go. And then mostly what I've been working on lately are socks. I'm a knitter. So this is using a self-striping yarn, and
Explain if people don't know. Self-striping yarn is amazing.
it's really cool. It basically does the color change work for you. So this is what a finished sock looks like, almost. I just have to do the closing part on the toe. But all of these color changes that you can see on the sock were incorporated into the yarn itself, right from the manufacturer or from the dyer.
Show that.
So this is sort of what the skein looks like, and then it knits up like this. So I've
Like
had some
magic.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there are independent dyers who do self-striping yarn, as well as commercial, like a Cascade type of company, and that's who made this particular one. It's that Cascade Heritage Prints. But there are people who hand paint the stripes on so that it will do the same type of technique when you knit it up. So
cool.
That's been fun. So this is the one I'm working on right now for the summer, and these are the ones I just have to finish. These are my Christmas ones that I started last year, so they'll be good for Christmas this year. And again, I just need to finish and close up the toe.
So now, how do you do the toe?
It's called the Kitchener stitch, and it's a stitch that you do with the yarn that you're working on and a darning needle, and you do the stitch so that it mimics a knit stitch, so that it doesn't look any different than a regular stitch that you've knitted into the piece. It just closes it up so that it looks like you were able to just knit the toe, but you actually do it with a needle and
so awesome.
The tail that you left to close it up. Yeah, so it looks cool when you're done. And I finished a shawl recently. So this was a mystery knit-along shawl pattern that I did.
Explain to people what the mystery knit-along is.
Sure, you might see something called an MCAL, which is a mystery knit-along, MKAL. And it's basically some type of pattern that a designer would put out, or a company, where you don't get the whole pattern up front. So they release what usually is called a clue on a set schedule. So this one was one that was designed for Advent. So there were 4 clues, and each clue was released one Sunday of Advent. So the pattern is by a homespun house. I did not purchase their yarn kit. She's a dyer too. But I got yarn from a company called Hugh Loco.
Oh,
and it was just, I wanted sparkly yarn. I don't know if you can see it, but there's
closer up.
there is
So
glitter. It's called the Glitz sock base. And there's 4 different colors in here. This one down the bottom is a color called With Age. Ooh, there we go. This one's With Age. This blue is Pond Life. This cream color is a color called Oak. And then this apricot-y color, orangey, is called Apricot is My Jam.
Apricot is my jam right now. I love that.
So it's fun. It goes with a lot of the colors that I wear. And I'm done with the knitting. I just have to weave in my ends, which is take these tails and work them into the piece so that they don't show. And then you do what's called blocking. I usually do a wet block, which is where you soak your finished object, and then you let it sit in the water, and it sort of lets the stitches relax and release because they get a lot of tension, and it can be crunched up as you're working on the project.
Right.
And then you wring out all the water. You can wrap it in a towel, press it out, and then block it out to the size and shape that it's supposed to be, and then you're good to go.
The first time, only time I've ever blocked anything was when I was doing the Arne and Carlos.
Oh yeah, the squares.
The squares, the quarantine knit along that they were doing, and I was using cotton, so I just put a wet cotton towel on top of those squares and ironed them,
Awesome.
and that worked really well.
Yeah,
now,
you totally
do you
do.
soak yours because of the fiber content of the yarn, because it's got wool in it? Is that...
Yeah, usually anything that's a merino wool or a superwash wool is something that you can wash either by hand or in the washing machine, and you don't have to necessarily worry about it felting. Felting is where it shrinks the stitches and creates a tight fabric. 100% wool will felt if you wash it in like a washing machine or in super hot water. Sometimes that's what you want, but when you're knitting a wool sweater, you don't want that to happen.
No, because it'll be like that big.
Yeah, it'll shrink. It won't be the size you want, and if you did any type of pattern, it won't show properly. So you don't want it to felt. But superwash, you don't have that same concern. It is good to hand wash anything that you make.
Right.
but you are able to put it in the washing machine if that's your pleasure.
Which is really cool.
So I do usually
beautiful.
wet block, but you can totally steam block, and you have to be careful when you steam block with an iron, just depending on what your material is made out of. Like even in acrylic you can block, but you don't want to like iron it because
I would think that acrylic wouldn't make a difference.
Well, I think it can help ease your shape depending on or relax your stitches a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't want to iron it or put direct heat on something that's acrylic because it'll melt.
Right.
Yeah, and you won't be happy.
That's awesome. So the yarn that you used is from Hugh Loco.
Yes. There's a woman out in Colorado.
She's amazing.
Her name is Nicole. I don't remember her last name, but she has a company called Hugh Loco. She's really cool. She's young.
Really cool.
She's probably about my age, and she's got a cute little family, and she's just a fantastic dyer.
First of all, she looks like she's 12.
Yeah, she looks she looks younger
so young.
than she actually is.
But her dyeing of yarn is amazing. So if you love yarn or want to love yarn or want to know, check her out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hue Loco Loco.
Yep, crazy color is the way she describes it. And the thing about her that I really like too is she's extremely willing to share her knowledge of wool and dyeing and yarn and all of that. So it's really cool that, it's her business, but she's also willing to share what she knows so that if it's something people wanted to try at home, they absolutely could.
Right.
And I think actually on YouTube, if you search Hugh Loco, she did a 3 or 4 part how to dye yarn.
Well, and I saw her thing on how she sources her yarn, and she sources it locally. So it's the sheep are grown in her geographic area. The wool is taken from the sheep in that area. It is cleaned and spun in that local area, and then of course she dyes it. So there's like a really low carbon footprint on that yarn, which is really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Environmentally responsible. So if that's something that you're interested in too, it's nice to know
Absolutely.
that there are people out there who
Mm-hmm.
are practicing their craft in a way that is, environmentally responsible too. So, because I never knew that until I saw one of her videos, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think her line that she does that in is called Woolen. And she often, I think even with that, uses natural dyes.
Yeah.
So it's not commercial dyes. It's all from natural sources. So
yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, so she's really cool. She does a little bit of everything, and she has sales. Hand-dyed yarn can be on the expensive side, but if you shop around and follow people on Etsy, or Instagram, they give coupon codes and discounts, especially around their birthdays or holidays. So they try to make it a little more affordable for everybody. But on the flip side of that, you can get some fantastic yarn at some of the big box stores. Like there's a yarn called Patton's Croy that I've used to make socks. You get it at Joann's or Michael's. So
Patton, that's the wool, right?
You can do. They have a wool.
Yarn.
They have a DK Superwash. That's fantastic. I've done some blankets out of that. And then they have a sock weight yarn too. So there's definitely stuff out there for everybody's price point.
Right.
So if you're thinking of knitting or starting crochet, don't be intimidated by the cost.
Right.
You can definitely learn how to fit it within your budget.
And what's kind of cool is was it last summer or the summer before? I think it was maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember now. Anyway, I started weaving. So I made simple loom, and I did a mix of more expensive, finer fiber, beautiful yarn with some less expensive stuff, and you can mix and match it, and that's kind of an economical way to get to use different fibers and get to know what they're like.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of pattern resources out there. So even if you wanted to invest in one skein of a more expensive yarn to try something out, there's a lot of patterns out there for one skein wonders or smaller projects, hats, fingerless mitts, mittens, things like that you could totally make something beautiful with that with that one skein.
Or you can just fall in love with that yarn and not
And not do anything with it.
at all.
And
like
have a stash.
like I have a stash, and in my stash, should I go get you like my prize? You want me to go get it? My prized possession that I
Sure.
don't even want to use it on anything because I love it so much.
Go for it.
All right,
It
entertain
was
the
a
people.
fantastic day down here in Bradford. Been staying up in Warwick with Anne Marie's brother JB, and I would say the weather up there is a little bit warmer than it is down here. They always have a nice breeze because they're closer to the water, and it was nice. We sat outside, listened to the chickens. George chased them around the yard a couple times. That was funny to see. But we've had a really nice day here. I'm always happy to be able to spend the day with JB's family.
I totally pulled a Grocery Girls on you there.
Oh, you did.
If you're looking for a knitting podcast, the Grocery Girls are hilarious. The two sisters up in Canada, and they do whatever. They let the camera go, and like they'll get up, they'll leave, they'll whatever. And I just told them, I'm like,
Go get drinks.
totally pulled a Grocery Girls on Lucia.
They're fantastic. They'll talk for hours.
Literally hours. Like there are times when George and I watch their videos, and we're like, oh my God, are they still talking? Is this the same episode? We're like, let's pause it and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Like, they talk that much. But they're great. They're fantastic. So this is my basket for my white weaving pillows that I've been doing. So it's all different shades of white. But this,
Ooh.
yeah. So this is Mirasol, and what is it? It's a blend
Sulka?
of extra fine merino, baby alpaca, and mulberry silk.
Ooh, this is super soft. It's nice.
I love
Lovely.
it.
It's like a roving texture. Roving is
Yes.
sort of like an unspun
This is a
skein of yarn. That's
big
a thick,
roving,
bulky
this
roving.
is a big, cheap roving. But
Fantastic.
you can mix
Absolutely.
this with this, and let's say this is part wool. So what is this, 80, 20? 50-50. So 50% acrylic, 50% wool. And then this is, what's wool ease?
That's an 80-20, I
That's
think.
an 80-20, right? So, or you can do 100% wool or do a mix. And so it's kind of cool that with weaving especially, I think more than with knitting or crocheting, you can mix those different fibers and come out with something that's going to be spectacular because you're looking for different textures and whatever. And it's
different
funny because
combinations.
even, I'm trying to think, like, even this is a silver, it's a yarn, but almost like a netting.
Ooh.
And it's probably cotton and acrylic, super cheap. But again, you mix that in, and you don't always have to use really expensive yarns to make something that's artistically interesting.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of cool.
Absolutely, and there's lots of resources out there for doing that. And I also think you always have to know your audience, like who are you knitting it for?
Right.
You know, if it's something for like a baby, you don't want to make it out of 100% wool because their parents aren't going to be able to wash it. You want to make it out of a superwash or an acrylic, something soft that, you know, you can throw in the washer, low care, kind of no worry type of material. So those are fantastic. I've done a couple acrylic blankets, and there's companies out there that make a super soft. You wouldn't even know that it was 100% acrylic yarn,
Right.
unless you looked at the tag. So
What is that one now that like butter? Like butter? Is that Lion Brand?
I
does
think
that
they do
one?
have one. It's
Like
called
butter.
Like Butter. Knit Picks makes a nice one. A line called Brava. I think it's in different weights. I did an Afghan for JB in that.
Oh, did
and
you?
It came out super
What
soft.
color?
It's striped. It's a bunch of different colors. It's primarily navy blue. It's got like a mint green, a white, a couple different grays, a light blue, and a purple.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And like I said, super soft, washable. I don't have to worry about it going in the washer or dryer.
Yeah, that's really important, especially with something that needs to get washed on a regular basis.
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's not something you have to hand wash, hand dry. Like I said, you just have to know your audience and who you're knitting for.
Right. And what you're you know, it's funny because the pillow cover that I'm doing now is to replace one that I had done a few years ago. And I said, I saw a pattern online and I said, let me just try it and see, you know, how it works. I'd never done one before anyway. So I just picked a cheap yarn and did it. But because the yarn was cheap, it stretched and pulled and didn't. So that's one of the things about when you find a pattern, they'll suggest the types of fibers that are better for some things rather than others. And that's
Absolutely.
good to take into consideration too. So
Yep.
the one that I'm doing now is in a totally different fiber. It's more nylon.
Yep, and that'll
actually.
totally affect the shape of something, and you know that's especially important, especially if you're knitting or crocheting any type of garment.
Right.
Knitting something out of superwash is going to give you much more stretch than knitting something out of 100% wool or cotton or acrylic. So you just have to make it. It's totally doable. There are very few patterns that you can't adapt to whatever you have for resources. Especially if you're using up stuff that you already have in the house or stuff that's already in your basket of fun.
Your stash, your basket stash.
But yeah, you just take it into account, and as you get more comfortable, you are more comfortable making the substitutions or the modifications.
Right. I was trying to. There's a. That's an example. The Lion brand of this super squishy,
Oh, nice.
baby soft,
clay.
which is probably. What do you think? That's probably acrylic, right?
I would say it's an acrylic.
If you
yeah.
can see that super squishy, super soft. You know, great for a baby blanket,
Yep.
or maybe a kind of sweater or something for the winter, scarf even. So you know what? That's a really inexpensive compared to some of the
Yep.
you know, higher end yarns. But you can have a lot of fun with it, especially
Absolutely.
playing with the colors. And
Yeah.
I was trying to find, actually, there was an example, now I can't find it on Instagram, of a beautiful yarn done in one of the, you know, no, I can't find it now. Anyway, by one of the big makers, so it's going to be at a lower cost point. And I saw the colors and I went, oh my God, it's amazing. But the thing with the independent dyers is you are going to get colors and fibers that you can't get from a big box store, and they're unique, they're spectacular. We were talking about Hugh Loco. This girl has a collection that's called the Backyard Chicken
Chickens.
Collection, and she does all of the colors. She uses her chickens as the inspiration, and when you see the photos of the chickens and the photos of the colors of her yarn, it is amazing.
Yeah, she's spot on. Like, there's no doubt
she's a
what
genius.
goes with what. She's really talented with color.
It's amazing. It's super cool. So, what else do you have? Do you have any other projects that you're working on?
I don't have
What
anything
happened to your baby
working
stuff?
on. I haven't started it yet. I'm trying to finish up some of my works in progress, whips, like my socks. Trying to get some of those
Wait,
off
the baby's
the
born,
needles.
right?
The baby is born. She's adorable. She's 3 months old. She's not mine. She's my cousin, and they live down in Georgia. So I saw this pattern for a
Is that the yarn?
super sweet baby blanket. Baby bonnet
Do you have a
and
picture of it? You have
sweater.
it online, right?
I
Or-
have.
oh, no, you have
I think I have the pattern. 1 second. It is paid for, but I will just show the picture. So this is it's called the Beloved bonnet. Hold on 1 second. And it's by a company called Tin Can Knits. And Tin Can Knits is fantastic. They have paid patterns, but they also do an entire line of free patterns.
I love that there are so
They're
many free
wonderful.
patterns.
They have so many, like, socks and sweaters and blankets and hats. So you can just pick something that you want to try,
Right.
or it's not a quality thing. Like, they just want to promote knitting
I love
and
that.
give people the tools that they need in order to make beautiful things. So
That's so
they've
cool.
done a whole line of patterns that are free.
And you know what? So for the longest time, I said I'm not paying for patterns. I would always just find and they're what is it? Drops.
Yep, they have a
Drops
bunch of them.
Designs does tons and tons of free knitting patterns. But you know what? There are a lot of them are not expensive. So, you might see a pattern for a beautiful sweater and it's $5 for the pattern. I mean, that's worth it. First of all, you're going to keep that pattern forever. And usually they're really well written and they're going to help you a lot in,
Yeah, and especially if it's
doing the
something,
project.
a lot of patterns will come in different sizes, and some of them are unisex, so you can make it for a man or a woman. They have kid sizes all the way up to adult, so you can definitely get your money's worth, even if you
For
do
sure.
spend a few bucks.
Yep.
And you think about the designer's their creative aspect
Right.
that went into it. So I think something like $5 or $7 is totally worth it, especially if it's something that you're really interested in making.
So this is did you show the yarn?
I have not. This is the yarn that I'm gonna do. It's sort of
It's
like a
so
cream
pretty.
colored with lots of speckles for a little girl who I hopefully will enjoy wearing this when it's done. So there'll be a little sweater, like an open front sweater, and the bonnet, both in these once I get
So
started. So
cute.
hopefully that will be coming soon. And this yarn is actually, I got it on Etsy. I'm a big proponent of supporting small businesses.
Which Natalie is on.
now.
Natalie,
Yay!
who is not watching this, I'm sure.
Well,
but
hopefully
Natalie,
she
good
is.
job.
But fantastic. We've made our purchases, and hopefully they will be packages from her in the mail very soon.
So awesome.
Very happy and proud to support her.
So in case anybody's watching and they don't know, my daughter Natalie has started an Etsy shop with these stickers. She is an artist in every form, right?
Yeah,
She's a musician,
fantastic.
she's a singer, songwriter, she plays musical instruments, and she draws. And so she made a series of coloring pages of cats, her cats and other people's cats, and little stickers that you can put
Like on your
wherever.
laptop, on a notebook or whatnot.
And they're really cute.
They're
And the
super
name
cute.
of the, what is it? Little Bean? What is it?
I don't know. Under Etsy, I think it was under the Natalie page.
Let me see what her handle is on Instagram.
Yeah, she's got some t-shirts on there too with one of her logos, so I'll be sporting that shortly.
Okay, I went all the way down trying to find that. What's it for? The Good Bean. The Good Bean. The Good Bean. The Good Bean .art.
Instagram, check her out.
Check her out. Ooh, that was somebody else.
She's got a few things up there now, and hopefully she'll have more up there as her sales increase.
Right. So Etsy's cool.
Yay.
Natalie's cool. You're cool. We're cool. It's
amazing how much we have in common.
We're gorgeous.
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's all I'm working on right now.
Have you ever done any little animals? Knit or crochet?
I have not, but I have a little cousin who is into like superheroes. So recently I picked up, they had a kit for some of the Marvel superheroes.
Oh, right.
Where you do some hand stitching on felt, like you cut out the pieces, and you've got like the Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man.
Very
and
cool.
yeah, so I'm gonna make some. He likes things that he can hold in his hands. So I've got some hand size toys hopefully coming for him shortly.
cute.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to do, I think, a little embroidery lately. It's just been, I got some handkerchiefs
Oh, yeah.
in the mail, and some like corner patterns that you can put on the
Nice.
corner of them. Little old-fashioned, so I like
Very
those kind of things. So I
cool,
thought it would
yeah.
be cool.
And those are cool because you can use them for little, you could use them as curtains.
Yeah,
you can
anything.
use them as little table decorations. There's so many different things that you can use. They're beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
they're
really
fun,
nice.
so I'm hoping to do that. And then I've been doing a little sewing, like with the pandemic, doing masks, and just have my sewing machine going. So kind of like all crafts.
Yeah, you do a lot. You do a lot. You're the master.
No, hardly, but I have lots of interests.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, keeps me busy.
So today we did spend a good part of the day knitting.
Yeah.
I was crocheting. So I'm almost done. I keep saying that, right?
You
Every
are
time I'm
almost
like,
done.
but
You're
I
close, you
am
keep
almost
measuring.
done. So this is the pillow cover that I'm doing. And what's kind of different about this is this side of it was started in the middle and goes out as a granny square. And then I continued it. And so the back is going to be, I did back and forth. So
That's cool. So you got your initial square.
I got the
the
initial
size you wanted it.
square and then did the second half in a
neat.
different way, but it's all one piece and then the sides all get seamed
Oh,
up.
that's fantastic. One less side to seam too, so that's always a plus.
Sure is.
Now, do you always use a pillow form, or do you ever stuff your pillows, or what do you do to put inside?
I use old pillows.
Oh, okay.
So I have pillows from, I mean, I'll take an old pillow, like a bed pillow, and turn it into a throw pillow.
Oh, cool.
Or like I find them all over the place. So most of mine are old, and then I recover them.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I like that.
that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
So,
recycling, repurposing.
as a matter of fact, the pillows, not that one, but the other pillow cover that I'm doing, the 4 pillows that we have in our living room on the 2 couches, 2 on each couch, I got one day with Isabella.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
picked her up from school one day, and we went over to Savers. I said, "Come on, let's go over to Savers."
Savers is fantastic
And
for stuff like that.
So I saw these 4 pillows, and I was like, "Oh my God, those are really nice, and they're cheap. I'm gonna get them." So, and then I saw like a duvet cover, and I saw something else. So I'm like loading this little carriage with like pillows, and she was like looking at me like, "What are you doing? Like, what is this? What's happening right now? You're just supposed to pick me up from school, and like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "It's all good. It's all good."
Isabella's JB's daughter.
Yeah,
she's
she's
fantastic
awesome.
and funny, and not with us today, but yeah.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time she can join us.
I was thinking that would be awesome to have her on because she's really funny.
She's
We were talking about how
hilarious.
funny
Yeah.
she is.
Oh my goodness.
So,
oh my
yeah.
goodness. Like sometimes she doesn't even realize how funny she is.
She's hilarious.
And she's got a great memory, so
She
funny
does.
funny lines from movies that she's heard or books that she's read.
And Mr. Pineapple.
And just her creative humor too.
She's super creative.
And
She's,
like we were talking about the photographs that she's been taking.
she's an
Holy
amazing
cow, she's a
little photographer.
fantastic photographer.
Yeah. Ever
so
since she was like itty bitty.
she's got a great eye for things.
She's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Felt
we love
that
her.
more.
Hi, Isabella.
Hi, Isabella.
So yeah, what else? Anything else?
Don't think so. It's pretty quiet. I'm working from home remotely for a while. Still to come.
So
probably
now
for the
you have
rest
to
of the
come
summer.
back and we have to do this again.
Sure, anytime you want to have me. I'll come
And we'll
back.
do it earlier. It's like getting dark
Although
now.
it's nice out.
It is. It is nice. But it's been kind of foggy
Yeah,
today.
overcast
It's
today.
been a little foggy. What is today? Today is July 11th. So Saturday, July 11th, 7 o'clock at night.
Where
it's
did the day go?
warm.
I swear, sometimes when we get together and just talk,
Didn't it go by
it goes by fast. Super fast. I guess
Eat,
time flies when you're
talk.
having fun.
Knit.
What's not to love?
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me. This
coming.
was so much fun.
Anything else for the update?
No, I think we're good.
I think we're good. Thank
Nice
you.
talking to everybody.
See, I want to say it again.